Recently, a subscriber on one of the videos that I produced made a comment and asked, in essence, he said, no disrespect, I mean this in the kindest way, but what the heck are you thinking? How can you do this and not have a home to go back to? Let's talk about that. Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? I'm Robert Anthony. Of course, I'm with Living with Rob. I want to first say that if you're a subscriber here, I am really glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're not, I'm glad that you clicked on this video. I hope by the end you are encouraged and inspired and you are maybe motivated to do something a little bit different with your own life. That's my purpose here. My purpose here is to offer everyone that watches some level of hope and encouragement in a life that is difficult. Life is difficult here. So let's walk down by the lake here in New Mexico and talk a little bit about why we're doing this, why we are comfortable not having a home base to go back to, and just really what this looks like for us. And it's a beautiful morning. The lake is low, and I thought that I would bring my long telephoto lens out because this lake is just teeming with birds, wildlife, birds, ducks. They have geese wars at night, I think. And a subscriber had asked me about why are you selling everything and giving up your home to do this. He was watching videos about when we bought the Winnebago, I should say. There are a lot of people that want to know the answer to that for themselves. Let me tell you my logic behind why I needed to do this. This is something I needed to do. My whole life has been about being safe and being secure and believing that if I just make enough money, I'll actually be okay. So I went into the flower business because it was the easy thing to do, and it was not the right choice for me, for the direction that I needed to go. It's not where I'm gifted the most. And so, as of late, I've known that, God is calling me to begin pursuing what it is that He put me here to do. And I can't do that with my personality. I can't do that and do it in a hedged, safe method. I can't do it by pursuing things that make sense or that are logical. Let me tell you about a few messages that I've been getting just over the last couple of days. So, life is short. I'm 54, and I was in the position with the direction that I was going. When we sold the flower shop and we sold the home, we were able to gather enough money, not $1 million or anything, but plenty more than enough to go out and begin traveling around for a period of time. One of the things that I've wanted to do is reduce the burden in my life. At one point we had 5 vehicles because of the flower shop and a home, and I had a boat at one time, and that's all stuff you have to take care of. And having a home, if you will, is nice, but having a home does mean lots of things to take care of. Things that break need to be repaired, and that costs money. You're not necessarily saving a bunch of money. But as far as being anchored down, that didn't challenge me enough. I needed a bigger challenge. I needed to push myself to a limit that's causing me to feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's a significant moment. I have to force myself to be in a state of doubt and discomfort because I want to increase my faith. Lately, I have just been getting message after message through podcasts and through various Bible studies that I've been doing that, when Jesus was here, it was the people that demonstrated significant faith that seemed to get the highest praise and approval from him. And those that demonstrated little faith seemed to get the most significant criticism from him. So for me, it really came down to it's a faith issue. So I don't believe that anything great is going to happen if we don't demonstrate and exercise faith. And faith is not necessarily, I've got all my ducks in a row and I've got this plan and it's all going to work out just fine. Because let me tell you something that I have learned by being out and traveling around. The best laid plans of mice and men will go astray. There's no doubt about it. And it's in those times that they do go astray that actually your faith is really pushed into growing. So what I'm trying to do is what Abraham did. And if you know the story of Abraham in Genesis, God said, go. And Abraham had no idea where he was going, but he picked up and pulled up his stakes and he went. Abraham left his home. Abraham left everything that he knew that was secure and comfortable. And he went and he left. And he made a lot of mistakes, He ended up in Egypt. He wasn't supposed to be there. And then he, gave his wife to the Pharaoh and created a havoc. And then he took on a mistress because God had said that they were going to give him kids, or that he was going to give him kids. And no kids came, so Abraham took it by the throat and decided he'd do it. That's why we have all the problems that we have today in the Middle East. Really, the fact of the matter is, that's the model that I'm striving to achieve. That's the direction that I want to go. So to answer the question, how could you do it? Home is wherever I park. Today, this is home. This beautiful expanse of wilderness, this beautiful expanse of free living, if you will. This is home right now as I move my way south. So I've been since leaving Michigan, I've been all over the place right now in the last 12 days. For me personally, I have to force myself into a position where I really have to trust. The goal of my life is to help people break away from those fears that they have, that they might really start to find the greatness that they're called to achieve. And I can't do that owning a little flower shop in Kissimmee, Florida, with a house in St. Cloud. I mean, I could theoretically, but the American way of life is really okay. I'm not impressed at this point with the direction that things are going, and I just wanted to make a difference. For me, I have some home bases. To answer your question, I've got a home base in Florida with a friend that would allow me to stay there. I've got a home base in Tennessee with a friend that's developing a piece of property that we can park the camper. I have a home base in Holt, Michigan, if I want to go hang out with my mom and help her around the house. I have home bases. I have places that I can go and park for a month or two and really put down roots for a bit. But I don't need that whole concept. I'm good with being a nomad. Oh, we've got company. Hey, come on over here. Come here. Over here. Come. Yay. How are you? Oh, all right, see ya. It's my pair of Doberman friends. They've come to visit. You meet people. I've made significant friends. I've seen beautiful sunrises and sunsets. I spent some time in Nebraska and met Steve and Colleen, and I stayed on their farm and helped around there for a little bit, doing some work, and got some epic sunset photography. Really enjoyed my stay there. And then, I went to Kansas, woke up in Kansas to an epic sunrise that was just unbelievable when I was in Kansas. And I stopped in Pueblo, Colorado and stayed the night, and 50 miles off the base of Pikes Peak and at a boondocker's welcome. And now I'm headed down to Arizona and Phoenix to pick up Joelle. So, it's about a journey, and it's about meeting great people. I've met a lot of great people. 3 years from now, who knows where I'll be. The goal is we wanted to build a YouTube channel. It's something that I really wanted to try to do and see if that flies. And at the moment, I'm not impressed. But I'll keep putting forward and keep trying to do what I can do to build it. And if it takes off, great. And if it doesn't, well, I guess it's not the end of the world. It doesn't really matter that much to me. It's just finding our bearings, finding our groove. When it's all said and done, I need challenge. I'm reading Tim Kennedy's book, Scars and Stripes, and I think a lot about my sons. I have a son in the Special Forces, and then I have a son that's a United States Marine, and both of those boys have really achieved greatness. They're both leaders in their respective fields, and they have achieved things that I have never even imagined that were possible. I am so proud of them and what they've done and what they've accomplished at this point in their lives at such a young age. I think about guys like Tim Kennedy, just what he's done. He's an unbelievable human being, and I'll never be at that level. What I'm doing right now is forcing myself to really push the limits of where I'm comfortable. I need to do this. And my hope is in doing it, that what it'll do is it will, maybe if you're following along and watching, you'll see beautiful things, but really through my risk taking and doing this, you'll be blessed in some way. You'll be encouraged in some way. You'll find something out of something that I've said, or maybe something that you've seen that really causes you to think and ponder. Like, for me, the last 3 or 4 days, I have had nothing but messages on faith. Everything I read references Abraham and what he did and what God called him to do. Been listening to podcasts and the different podcast messages that I've listened to from Charles Stanley, for example, all about Abraham and all about what faith is and what kind of faith we have to have and what Jesus modeled as, and what Jesus not only modeled but considered to be excellent faith. And I got to be honest, my whole life, I have not demonstrated that faith, other than when I moved to Florida. That was about one of the only times. But even then, I had to have everything just right to make it work. And now everything's not just right. And sometimes things really go to hell. But I have seen God show up in so many ways that it just really further encourages me to understand that when he said to sell the flower shop and sell the home and hit the road with your wife, I'm going to believe that he knows what he's talking about. The rest is history, I guess. It's my hope that at my age, that this is a challenge that will, as you follow along, will inspire you. So, hey, that's my answer to the question about, no disrespect, how could you do that? I know so many people that have done it that later regret it. I don't know that I ever really think it's healthy to look at a decision that we've made and say, what the hell have I done? I think it's better to say, that was an experiment that didn't work out. There are better ways to figure it out. It's kind of like Thomas Edison said, when somebody questioned him about all the failures that he's had, and I don't remember what the number was, but we figured out 9,000 ways that something hasn't worked, and then he invented the light bulb. It's just continuing to press forward, listening intently to what God has seemed to direct me to do, and really go in that direction. The biggest challenge that I have is not knowing what tomorrow will bring, not having a plan of action in place, and instead actually sitting down and resting, saying, he created everything that I've seen around this country. He's not short on the ability to point me in the right direction when the time comes. That's the kind of thing that he loves, and that's the direction that I want to go, and that's what I want to do. So I hope that my life encourages you. As I close this out, I'd love it if you would like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. That will let you know when the next video has come up, and it will keep you in the loop. Not only that, it apparently tells the YouTube algorithm that it's worth sending the videos out. So it does help to build the channel. So, hey, I appreciate you as a subscriber. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for being you. We'll see you in the next one.